I love growing soft fruits and especially cane fruits like Blackberry, Tayberry and Loganberry. I've got them trained along a post and wire support in my garden. And in this video I'm going to show you what I do once the canes have stopped fruiting and it's time to prune and train them. Favourites include the Thornless varieties. Thornless Blackberry Loch Ness is wonderful. There's another blackberry called Loch and another called Adrienne, all really good croppers on long thornless canes. Loganberries are a cross between a wild blackberry and a red raspberry. And these give you good summer pickings too. And so does the Tayberry. The Tayberry was developed back in 1979. It was a cross between a blackberry and a red raspberry, and it's named after the River Tay in Scotland. Now when it comes to Loganberries, there is a thorny variety which has the name of LY59, but you're likely to find a Loganberry which is thornless, which also has a code name of LY654, and that's the one most commonly grown. Canes grow to perhaps a couple of metres long, can be trained into supports. And there is another cane fruit you might find. I've never grown it myself, but it has large, greasy, maroon coloured fruits. And this is quite a complicated cross between a raspberry, a blackberry, an American dewberry, and a Loganberry. So look out for that one too if you want to grow something a little bit different. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Adam's Gardening Guides on YouTube. I've got dozens more videos on my channel which I hope you'll enjoy too, so check those out. Thank you. The majority of my soft fruits, my cane fruits, are grown on this post and wire support just in front of the greenhouse. I've got some blackberries which are still cropping as we move into September. I've had fabulous crops of fruit through late July and through August, almost daily pickings, and I've still got some red fruits developing, and that's a lovely thing about a cane fruit like this thornless Blackberry Loch Ness, is it flowers and fruits over a really long period of time, so it gives you pickings through the summer. And I don't even net this, I don't find the birds bother it at all. But if I move along the row here, earlier in the summer, some of the first fruits to develop on these canes has been Tayberry and Loganberry, again two thornless cane fruits. And you'll notice I've got some green leafy shoots which are the new shoots which grew this year, which will carry fruits next year. Lots of these mixed in with these, and these were last year's canes which carried fruits this year, and these have finished. And now my job is to prune these out and tie in this new leafy growth, and that way on this post and wire support I will have got rid of everything that's already fruited and finished for this year and tie in the new growth which will carry fruits next year. So that's very much one of my priority jobs for the beginning of September. It's just going along my rows of cane fruits and distinguishing between the new leafy growth which will carry fruits next year and following anything which carried fruit this year. Leaves will be turning brown. These can be cut out completely, and I will cut these right off at their base so you can go right the way down to the bottom where they're emerging from the ground. I'm going to have to untwine these and unpick them. Anything which has carried fruits already this year can be cut away, but I'll leave the new ones in place. So leave this with me and I'll just try and get rid of this tangle and see where we stand. So when we go down to soil level, I can see this cane fruited this year, so cut this one away. That one can come out completely. This one carried fruits this year, so again that can be cut off at the bottom and removed completely. Here we have a new shoot which will train in for next year, another new shoot for next year. here we are, that's one that fruited this year. Take care as you go in with your secateurs, come that way. Take him away, that shoot can be cut out. So bit by bit we go round and we can see which fruits have finished, which fruiting shoots have finished, which ones we can cut away. And I've got a lot of new growth here. I might have too many new shoots, in which case I have to thin these out, but I'm going to leave them all in place for the moment. You'll get there bit by bit, slowly clipping out the bits that have already fruited. But then here we've got nice leafy shoots here coming over. During the growing season, you've literally just got to wind the new growth in, try and keep it separate from the fruiting shoots. But then now, this time of year, all of that old growth can come out and we can make way for the new and train that in nicely into the support. Just the last couple of old fruited stems of the Tayberry to prune out here from this plant. As I say, you can tell the difference between the new canes and the old one. I'll cut the old one off right the way down at the base and get rid of that. One more here that carried fruit this year. It's got a much darker colour, as you can tell from the new growth, which has got a nice bloom on it. There we are, that's the old ones out. Now for next year's fruiting, I have got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big canes. I've got a silly little bit here I'm going to prune out, and I've got a little one there as well I'm going to prune out. Don't be too greedy. I think even now, with 5 canes coming up, I've got too many. So in a minute I'm probably going to remove one of these and just train in these 4. Now I've been left with 5 really long canes. All of this growth was produced this year. All of these great long shoots, yards and yards of growth, was produced just in this growing season. So I've cut the old canes out, which carried fruit. These new canes developed this year, and these have now got to be trained into the support. And what I'll do is probably take them up and spiral them round. I've got wires. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires across this area, about a foot apart, going between a post at either end of the row. And I'm just going to train these in so that they're all spaced about 6 inches or so apart. And I think, as I said before, I don't think I'm going to need 5 canes. I think I might only have room for 3 or 4. So let me take these 2 out of the way. These are the 2 which are growing up at the front. And I'm just going to start training in some of the others. I'm going to use this wire, this plastic coated wire, and just take some pieces of this off. Right, let's start with this cane. This has branched into 2 at the top as well, so I've got double the value. I'm going to come up this side, so I'm going to tie this in to the top wire here. Just, like I say, use the little wire clips, go around the wire and then just twist it in onto the support itself, and then going to come round in a spiral. Now you need to be able to pick the fruits, so I'll probably go up about as high as that there, and then take him down and round. So I'll probably come down to here. I've got some of last year's wires still attached on here, so I'm just going to come into there and tie him in there, and then come up on this side up to there. And where that branch came out into 2, again I'm going to take this onto here as well. I usually take the wire, spiral it onto the support wire so that it stays in place, and then a couple of twists to hold it in place on there. And then bit by bit, you'll get these onto the supports. Right, second one. Let's have a look, see what we got here. Up on this side, have a little branch there, and then spiral him again down this side. Space them out really as much as you can, because otherwise next year, once they start flowering and fruiting, you'll have an absolute mass of canes and you won't be able to reach the ripe fruit. Just like I say, trying to make the very most of the post and wire support we've got, getting this nice spiral of new growth in here. This will lose its leaves during the winter time. Next year you'll get the flowers and the fruits developing on these canes. Now with this next plant, I've got 5 canes here as well, which is going to be too many, so I'm going to take some of them off. I'm going to take this one off here, which just seems to be a bit of a wayward shoot. Cut that off at the bottom. No, I'll keep 4 for the moment. This shoot can come up to the top, tie him in there. Second shoot here, nice long one. I'll take him closer to this side here. Don't train him up too high, but there's fine for picking fruits next year. And then bring that spiral up right the way down, round bottom, and he can just come up. So just a nice wide up and over and round. 2 more coming up right here. Take this one over and then spiral him down. There you go. No hard and fast rules, just taking the canes up, give them some support so that the canes don't blow around during the winter, and they will carry decent crops of flowers and fruits next year. And as I say, these canes will go through the winter for flowers and fruits next year, but any new growth next year will have to be trained in alongside these. We'll get new shoots coming up from the base. They'll carry fruits the year after. But at the moment, we've got a nice bit of support. Canes are attached there, and we'll have more lovely, tasty soft fruits next summer. And there we have it. Blackberries still cropping at this end of the row, and I'll prune these fruited canes out later in the year. But the Loganberries and the Tayberries, which flowered and fruited earlier in the year, have had all of the old growth taken out. The new growth has been trained in, and we've now got a nice support of well-trained cane fruits, all set for the winter and set for cropping next year. Well, it's the end of September now, and the blackberries have well and truly finished fruiting. Actually, it's 1 or 2 more little fruits on here, but I think now is the time to prune out all of these canes which carried fruit this year. So just untie the canes you've got, take this new growth, these really long new canes that develop, probably a good 3 to 4 meters long. Take all of these new canes, separate them to one side, and then anything which carried fruit this year has now been finished can be cut away right the way down at soil level. So follow the canes back to the base, just work out which of these canes like this carried fruit and follow it right the way down to the bottom, and where it reaches the soil right the way down at ground level, and then these fruited canes can be removed completely, untwined, taken away, and the new growth, like these lovely new tall canes, can be tied in and twined down onto the wire plant supports. And these will carry the flowers and fruits next year.